Hello class, picking up where we left off at. We have this problem here. We have the mixed number 37 3/8 minus 10 1/2. So we need to line this up vertically. Now we need to find the common denominator of 8 and 2, which we know is 8. So we'll multiply this bottom fraction by 4 over 4. But since this top fraction already has 8 in the denominator, we will leave it the same. So it'll be 37 3/8 minus 10 4/8. Now in this situation, we know 4 is larger than 3 and we're not supposed to subtract it like that. So what we're going to do what is called borrowing. So let's do this. The mixed number on the bottom here will remain the same. So the mixed number we want to change is this here. So we'll borrow 1 from this 37. That'll make it 36. Your denominator still will remain 8. Your numerator, you just take the denominator and add it to the old numerator. 8 plus 3 is 11. Now 11/8 minus 4/8 is 7/8. 36 minus 10 is 26. And just as a little footnote here, when you borrowed that 1 from this 37, you was actually borrowing 8 over 8. And that's how you're able to add this and get 11 over 8. And this is it. Now, we move on to the next page. It's section E, order of operations with fractions. It says, don't forget parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. So we have our examples here. We have 2/3 to the second power, and then we have 1/6, plus 5 times 1/6. When we look in these parentheses, we notice that these are separators. So the next thing we would do is the exponents. 2/3 squared is the same as 2/3 times 2/3, which we know is 4/9. Now our next step. We can't do anything else with this 4/9, but we have the multiplication 5 times 1/6. So we'll put a 1 under the 5, and we will multiply these fractions. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. So now we have 4/9 plus 5/6. Now I will line this up vertically to make this easy to find the common denominator. The common denominator of 9 and 6 is 18. So we'll multiply this numerator by 2 over 2. This numerator and denominator by 2 over 2. And we'll multiply this numerator and denominator by 3 over 3, because 6 times 3 is 18. So now that will give us 8 over 18 plus 15 over 18. So we know that we will carry down our denominator, which is 18. 8 plus 15 is 23. Now we cannot simplify this any further, but we can change this to a mixed number. We could take 18 and a 23. 18 goes into 23 once. 23 minus 18 is 5. So you have a remainder of 5. So now, your final answer here would be 1 5/18. Now we come here to this problem. We have 2 squared over 3 minus the parenthesis 5/16 minus 1/16 divided by 2/3. We will do this parenthesis first because this isn't a separator. We actually have to do work here. So we'll bring down a 2 squared over 3 minus, in parentheses, they already had the same denominator. 5 minus 1 is 4 over 16. And that's divided by 2/3. Now, 4 over 16 can be simplified. I would suggest you do that. We could divide the numerator and denominator by 4, and that will give us 1/4. Now, we look here, there's nothing more we could do in this parenthesis, so we'll go to exponents. We'll do this exponents first. So this would be 4/3, because 2 squared is 4, the 3 is not squared, minus 1/4, we could take it out the parenthesis, divided by 2/3. Now, we have subtraction and division, so we will do the division first. So we'll bring down our 4/3 minus 1/4, because remember the first fraction stays the same. Division becomes multiplication, and we take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So now we will have 4/3 minus 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so now if you notice here, we have subtraction and we add different denominators. So we could go off here to the side and line this up vertically. The common denominator of 3 and 8 is 24. So we'll multiply this fraction by 8/8 and multiply this fraction by 3/3. So 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9. 8 times 3 is 24. Now, when we subtract this, we end up with 32 minus 9 is actually 23 over 24. So that is your final answer. Now we go here to section F, evaluating expressions. It says when working with fractions, it is a good idea to use parentheses around the fraction when you substitute it into the expression. Remember that this was true for negative numbers also. Having a little technical difficulties here, but we'll get through it. Okay, so now we would do this example. We have x squared minus y, so we have substituted in 2/3 for the x, and we put it in parentheses and square it. Minus y would be a negative 1/4. Now, we can't do anything inside these parentheses, so they're just separators. So now we would do the exponents. 2/3 squared is the same as 2/3 times 2/3, which is 4/9. Minus, well, we could say minus a negative 1/4 would give us a plus 1/4. So now we add different denominators. We can line this up vertically. Now the common denominator of 9 and 4 is 36. So we'll multiply this numerator and denominator by 4 and multiply this numerator and denominator by 9. So this would be 16 over 36 plus 9 over 36. And when we add this together, it will give us 25 over 36. And that is the final answer for number 1 here. Now we go over here to number 2. We still substitute. Y is 5/9 and x is 7/12. And we still put it in parentheses. So now we can't do anything with these parentheses. There's no exponents, but we do have addition and multiplication, and we'll do multiplication first. So we could bring down this first fraction. We don't really need the parentheses here anymore. And then plus, we could put this 2 over 1. And we could do the simplifying before we multiply. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 12 6 times. So we could do 1 times 7 is 7. And 1 times 6 is 6. So we have 5/9 plus 7 6. We have to find a common denominator for 9 and 6. We can set this up vertically again. Common denominator of 9 and 6 is 18. So we'll multiply this fraction by 2 over 2 and this fraction by 3 over 3. So this will give us 10 over 18. This will give us a positive 21 over 18. When we add these together, it'll give us 31 over 18. Now, we can't simplify this anymore because it's already simplified. So now we can change this to a mixed number. So we have 18 over 18 goes into 31 once. 31 minus 18 is actually 13. So you have a remainder of 13. So now your final answer would be 1/13 over 18. And that is it.